Good evening! It's Monday, July 11th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole, what separates our show from other Millennial news podcasts? I don't know what. We have a Gen Zer and a Boomer, and not just any Gen Zer and Boomer. We have Mr. BoomerRex himself.
Yeah, I'm the noisy one.
And my spawn, Sleet.
I still have much to learn.
Asshole and Boomer eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm learning that's four unique perspectives. Well, Asshole, me, and Sleet are learning. That's four unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table. I've not rewritten, so I try to do that just from my own brain, which is why it comes out shitty sometimes. But let's dig right into our headlines since it is just the news Monday.
That's right.
They're back.
This is so cool. Fin whales are back. Fin whales were nearly hunted to extinction.
I thought they were extinct.
And they're back. They have returned to their historical ancestral feeding grounds off the coast of Antarctica. They're having herds of them, 150 whales, show up and eat krill.
That's the one I saw off the Gulf Coast. Remember how I told you I thought it was a dolphin, and it turns out that it was definitely not a dolphin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one. No, maybe it wasn't one of those. It wasn't that big. It was one of those smaller whales, but anyway.
So, original estimates were only 1 to 2% of them survived commercial whaling, which took off in the southern hemisphere in the early 20th century and continued until restrictions in the 1970s. But they're now back in herds.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, way to go, fin whales.
Good for them. Good job, whales. Good job. Oh, yeah, so those are much bigger than I was thinking. Never mind. It was not one of those. But it was similar because it's got the little tiny fin on the back. And that's what I saw. It had a little tiny fin on like near the tail.
It's a it was a pretty decently sized animal, but with a fin in a very weird spot. It was a very small one too.
There's several whales, because I tried to look it up right after I had seen it, when it was still fresh in my brain. I think you were. But it was just intriguing because there was a dude swimming out there, like on the other side of the piers, and all of a sudden you see this ginormous back, and it looks like a dolphin at first, but then it keeps going and going and going, and then all of a sudden there's a tiny little fin on the back end.
Cute.
And then it goes down, and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. All right, Florida man. Speaking of Florida, Florida man's at it again. What's going on here?
It may have been right whales, which were hunted to extinction. They were named because they were the right whale to hunt. So anyway, Florida man. So I just love this one. So a Florida man was arrested over the weekend after trying to outrun deputies on a John Deere lawnmower. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. Dusty Mobley, 40, of Holt, was taken into custody Saturday morning by deputies and faces multiple charges of grand theft of a vehicle, felony criminal, yada, yada, yada. He stole a yacht.
So, and anyway. He didn't use the yacht to try and escape them. He went for the fucking tractor.
Wait.
That's what he was on when they showed up.
How do you steal a yacht, but then not be out in international waters on said yacht?
The first time they tried to arrest him, he was out on the yacht. So, anyway, they came back and he was mowing his lawn, apparently. Oh, boy. Yeah, again, Florida man.
They are just built different.
Yeah, they certainly think different.
Yeah.
God.
I think it's the humidity. It just gets to you. All right, when idiots collide, what is going on here?
This one is just a completely sad and idiotic story out of Baltimore.
Oh, no.
So here's a guy who has an argument with the squeegee people, the ones who come over and wash your windshield and want you to pay them and so forth. So he had a heated argument with them. So he drives out of the intersection, parks his vehicle, and comes back with a baseball bat.
Oh,
God damn it.
don't do that.
And nobody knows whether he hit anybody, but he was certainly threatening with them.
Yeah.
So one of the squeegee people pulled out a pistol and shot him dead.
Good.
Don't fuck
be
with
dumb.
the squeegee people.
Where did this happen?
Baltimore.
Do they have a stand your ground law?
I don't know. They're still looking to see if they can
If this happened
identify
in
the
Florida,
person.
dude's good. Because I know Florida has a stand your ground law.
Yeah, no, they shot him dead. Oh, you mean the squeegee person? Yeah. I'm sorry, baseball bat's a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with this.
No,
I don't
good-
either.
good job, buddy.
Maryland does not
For
have a
fuck's
state.
sake, you go to a client and then he comes back with the weapon threatening to do something. You already know he's on it.
But also, like, no means no. If somebody says, don't wash my windshield, you say, okay, and you move on. Like, I don't understand why there was even an argument.
Because sometimes they wash your windshield before they ask you.
Well,
So-
and I can understand being angry about that.
Yeah.
So Maryland, well, and at least some percentage of that is to crack your trunk. But Maryland has no stand your ground law. In fact, they have a duty to retreat law that requires victims who are not in their homes to retreat to avoid danger before using deadly force to defend themselves.
Okay.
So,
Where are they going to retreat to? They're in the middle of an intersection.
You
Away.
need to step back.
Yeah.
I would suggest in that situation, you step back, you produce the weapon,
fucking run.
and you tell him, I'm going to shoot you,
Yeah.
right?
Step
Okay.
back a couple more times. If
Yeah.
he continues to approach you after you shout in his face as loud as you can, stay back. I have
I'm
a
not
weapon.
Getting in his face.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You stay
He's
far
not
away
getting in
from
my
them.
face.
Run back to your
Baseball bat.
stuff if they come to you, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, so we'll see how it ends up. I felt sad for the man's father who said he should have just kept driving,
Yeah.
which of course is the right answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Don't
anyway,
get mixed up in this shit.
Don't fuck with the squeegee people.
Remember, we are technically living in as close to a third world country as America has ever been. So, and there's guns everywhere. Everybody's got guns. Everybody. So
Well, and
just
again, if you-
assume that everyone you speak to has a gun and start with that attitude, okay? And go from there.
And
No,
if you
and
don't
I-
have a gun, you're lying to yourself.
and again, this is if you come at somebody with a baseball bat, they have every right to feel like you're trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So
Because you are.
yeah,
I've been hit with a bat on accident and thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
To
no.
be fair, who the fuck pulls out a baseball bat as a threat? If you pull out a
Loads
baseball
of
bat, you're
people.
already
Nobody-
that dedicated
yeah.
to go through it.
Every felon, loads of people. Anyone who can't have a gun for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'd recommend the little promotional bats because you can stick it up your sleeve if you need to, or like a tire checker. But that needed a big truck for.
Alright. A real town as opposed to a fake one?
So anyway,
It's an illusion.
Hold on, I have to go back to that one. My only question is, did he have a glove and a ball in the trunk? And it's a bullshit litmus test, but it is one of the short, fast
yeah. I'll buy
questions
that.
to ask. Is it a weapon or is it a bat?
Yeah.
Right, if he's got a helmet and a ball, right. Maybe. If they got the stuff to play the game, they can at least make the argument.
Fair.
Yeah, it was all he had, and he grabbed it.
Well, but again, he didn't have to approach this person at all, which, again, remember, we keep telling you on this show, do not attack people. Do not approach people. Do not touch people. Do not look at people weird. It will cause problems for you, and only you. Just keep that in mind. If
Yeah.
I say or do this dumb thing, what's going to happen to me?
Always-
And usually the answer is,
What is
maybe I'll get shot.
What is the craziest, least in control shit that can go down now?
Always try to keep the situation as calm as possible. If they're escalating, just get the fuck
And
out.
if
while
you have gotten out of the situation, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's really bad, if you got hurt or something, you can stop 2 miles up the road and call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know where those people are.
Yeah.
Go
They're
to a
not
safe
going anywhere.
place and then have the authorities deal
Yeah.
with it as such, because that's their job.
All right.
Whether or not they'll do it well is
So let's talk about this real not fake town. That's definitely not a hologram, apparently.
What?
Right.
There's
So
a
this is
garage.
New Longton, UK. So anyway, someone wrote to Nathan Jones and Daniel Cooper, get that revolting flag down. This is a Christian village and children pass by. What kind of morons are you? When they hung a pride flag outside the post office that they run in Longton, in New Longton. So anyway,
What's the problem with children seeing a rainbow?
they've been putting up with this shit for a while. This was just the latest attack. And the response from the townspeople was, I can't believe this. This is idiotic, right? So anyway, they said they're lovely lads. They don't deserve to be treated like this. So the town came and had a little party in the rain with everybody with their little pride flags.
Aw.
And they stood in front of the post office and waved them in the rain.
Aw, I love that. That
So,
is such
anyway.
a good story.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that's how it should be done, folks. Let's stop with the hate, all right? Like, stop you hating.
Meh.
And here's the thing, even if you are against the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
you don't have to actively hate them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Just keep your nasty thoughts to
Nobody's
yourself.
trying to impose anything.
exactly.
on
Yeah.
you.
They aren't trying to shove it on you or your kids. If
Yeah,
you
if
don't
someone's
want your
touching you in a way you don't like, tell an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they're actively trying to shove it on you, tell somebody else.
Shove it in you, maybe?
Shove it in you, on you, whatever the fuck
If
they're
they're touching you in any way that you are not happy about, then tell
Then
an
you have a
adult.
complaint.
Yeah, file a complaint.
But
Don't
as long as gay people aren't actively trying to do anything inappropriate to you, keep
What
your
is your
mouth
fucking
shut.
problem?
Didn't your moms raise you? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Let's go back to
Anyway.
that. I liked that. Let's go back
Well,
there. That was
and
a good place.
Here's the thing. What's the issue with pride flags? Oh, but the children, they see a rainbow flag. They don't know what it stands for.
They're like, oh, unicorns. I like unicorns.
flag. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna show them all these rainbow things. They're just gonna think it's a cool looking flag. They won't know what it means. And if they ask, you don't have to be honest. They're your kids.
Yeah, you can teach them all the dumb, wrong shit you want.
You
It's
can
weird. No one checks.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can teach them whatever you want. That's fine. Just don't.
It's gonna be great until they tell their friends what it really means, and then their friends are gonna be like, "What?
No.
That's not what that means at all, you fucking idiot." So
Well-
be prepared that you are going to raise your kid to be made fun of excessively.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't even understand the people who are going to make the religious argument of, oh, we need to hate on these people. But the thing is, they teach on hating the acts more than they do the people generally. The only people who force hating the people are those people who are racist, sexist, etc., etc.
Bigots.
Those are the bigots. Those are the only
Yes.
people actually pushing for it.
Yeah.
If you actually read the literature, yeah, the whole stoning gays thing, fair enough. But other than that,
fair
they
enough in what
generally-
way?
Directly proposing the act of how gay people should die, kind of thing.
As that being bad?
Yes.
Okay.
Done in bad.
Okay, you need to like, this is on the internet, honey. You need to be very specific about what you mean when you say
Yeah.
crazy shit like that, because it sounded like you were okay with people stoning gay people.
No.
And that's not okay.
I mean, against my point of how a decent part of the Bible is basically hate the act, not the people. That is.
I don't even
That's
think they talk about
a
that.
dodge that's been used
Yeah.
by every bigot preacher
Yeah.
in every
I-
pulpit across the South.
I don't even think that that's true.
I don't care.
from-
I don't care what you think about the act. Nobody invited you to participate.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
You're missing out. So just shut up. No one asked you to join the party.
You don't have to actively talk about something if you don't care about it or care for it.
Oh no, it's the American Taliban. They have to tell you how to live. They're the sex police.
Fair.
Government just small enough to fit in your pants. States' rights and all that.
Fair
Unless
and
the state's
stupid
going to do something they don't want.
All right.
So anyway, words cannot describe how we feel at the kindness everyone has shown, Cooper said when asked how he felt about the villagers showing up for them. I'm overwhelmed.
Aww,
Yeah.
that's so
Way
sweet.
to go, village.
Yeah.
job.
All
Yeah.
right, America.
We need more of that.
Like, we need to step up, okay? We need to step up for our people who menstruate, okay? We need to step up for our LGBTQ plus community, all right? We need to do more. Be good people. And if you're a Christian, I imagine that you want to be a good person. So why are you being bad? Stop being bad. All right. drag their asses in. Ooh, whose asses are we dragging in? That sounds fun. I
So,
like
a Fulton County judge has ordered Senator Lindsey Graham to appear before a special grand jury investigating President Donald Trump. This is the same one who also ordered Rudy Giuliani to appear. So, anyway,
How about
We're
you want to
getting
bet
there.
he's going to be like, I plead the fifth. The fifth. The fifth.
well, first he's
The
going to
fifth.
say he can't be subpoenaed for 3 or 4 rounds
Still the fifth.
until several courts have.
They get lazy. They're gonna just
Yeah.
drop it to 5th.
But
The fifth and a half.
Bannon's going to trial next week for
Yeah.
6th. Oh wait.
And DOJ filed that thing saying he's a liar. Well, his lawyer's,
his lawyer's a liar. Yep,
One of them's a liar. Let's punch around till we figure out which one.
I love it.
I think the better thing would be punish both of them. But,
I'd be happy if we punish anybody nowadays. Fuck my life.
And, we'll see.
The record's not good. We'll see.
yeah, fair enough.
All right. Do you have anything more to say on that?
Nope.
Okay. There might be consequences. What's going on now? Who might be getting consequences this time?
Russia's been using natural gas as a weapon, right?
No.
At the moment, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline is shut down for a 10-day maintenance period, but Russia's been making noises about how it could be longer than that, and so on.
No!
So the French and German
The
economic
worst thing that ever
ministers,
happened.
It is. If they do it during winter, that's one of the ways you get us to throw nukes first. Because if they start freezing out Europe, we don't have a choice. Or we get into some other piratey shit, right? We can take the places where the oil flows. That's what the Strategic Oil Reserve is for.
Fair.
So anyway, but this has gotten both France and Germany to begin thinking about alternative sources of natural gas.
What I'd be looking at doing
Right.
is expelling the Russians.
Who did we say was going to start going natural gas to other countries in the area to help? We were talking about that last week, right?
Azerbaijan
Yes.
is shipping gas
Yes.
through Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, but again, they're looking for
Belarus is run by a shithead, right? Not Bulgaria.
right.
Okay.
So anyway, France is now talking about speeding up the construction of its floating natural gas terminal off the Atlantic coast, and these kinds of things. Now remember that France uses a lot of nuclear, so they're not desperate for this natural gas. Germany's in worse shape, but again, so now we have economic ministers and industrialists and a whole bunch of folks thinking about the future and how to get Russia the fuck out of their energy picture. Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna mean getting natural oils, gases, etc.
Yeah. So, and to
Natural
find
gas
different
and
sources.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it comes in a different pipe. But
Right.
yeah.
All right, so that's fun, and fuck you, Russia. Not you wonderful people that listen to our show, because we appreciate and respect you and know that you hate what's happening and hope that you are doing your best to stop it. But to the assholes that are running your country, they can fuck off, and we love you all. You
Murdering the
citizens,
futures
you
of your
wonderful
Well,
Russian
and they
citizens.
have, yes, they have already spent the futures of your children. Russia's going to be a pariah.
Yeah. No, and their generals, their talking heads think they'll get to run away, and maybe not wrong.
Yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts for.
Hey, Imelda Marcos.
If there's one thing that Russia knows how to do, it's to quell an uprising.
The Shah. Trying to think of all the governments we've hosted.
We want to talk about a country that's good at black bagging people, where they'd put a little black bag over your head and you just diss a fucking peer. Yeah. Well, China's good at that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, from external forces, it'll be a little harder.
Hey, going into Russia's madness.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you can get out, please try to
Get out.
Get out. But we still love and appreciate you, and appreciate that you listen to our show. And if you are one of those, Russian talking heads listening to our show because we say bad shit about you, fuck off.
Toss Putin out a window.
Please do. It would
Help
save
us out.
everyone.
Help
Fourth
us
floor
out.
or better.
Yeah. Seriously. All right.
Tossed out the window, you're already a lot fucked.
Yeah.
As a dude, because your shoulders are off, you're gonna hit on your back.
Well, and he's already old enough.
Yeah.
a third story.
His hollow ass bird bones aren't gonna take it.
All right.
Stupid
Widespread
tumor.
sexual abuse in JROTC. What is going on here?
Whoa, hold up.
Again?
Yeah. Turns out that JROTC instructors, right, who are former military, right, are somewhere between 2 and 3 times as likely as a regular high school teacher to assault young women.
Fuck. Yeah, no.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Certainly believable.
So the New York Times did a study over the last 5 years. The Times found, through an investigation of court documents and public records, that at least 33 JROTC instructors were charged with sexual misconduct involving students.
Out of how many?
How many students?
No, out of how many fucking instructors?
Again, they're 2 to 3 times as likely as normal high school teachers to. Anyway, again, and the answer should be that they never do. And I'm sorry, but it's on the fucking military.
Yeah.
You're sending the wrong people to be JROTC.
Yeah, if you got somebody who comes
There's
to you.
1,700 JROTC programs.
Oh, wow. So probably close to a little more than that in teachers.
I'd assume.
Yep. But again, how many in Florida?
Oh,
Not sure
this
that's
was
a number
Florida
you'll find.
specifically?
Yes, this was Florida.
Oh.
Mm.
But, no,
I'm curious how they select their junior ROTC
well,
instructors.
here's the thing. If you get a dude that's like, yeah, I want that job, don't give that dude that job.
Yeah, I feel it should be something like assigned to them as like.
No.
you know,
They should be given some sort of, like, testing or something to find out their mental state and then,
Yep.
based on that, decide if they go or not. And if you have volunteers for that shit, be extra wary of those motherfuckers, okay?
I feel they shouldn't be volunteering for it necessarily.
17.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
There's only 17.
Oh, it's 1 per county. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so anyway, yeah, fair percentage.
Damn.
Yeah. One little girl was 15 when her 45-year-old instructor began to abuse her.
Yeah.
Well, and
She was afraid if she resisted him, she would risk her military career.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't tell you how
my
fucking
life.
angry that makes me.
Yeah.
It makes me want to take a baseball bat to somebody.
Right?
no, it brings me back to when I was going through MEPS to go into the Navy, and the doctor, there was a whole line of us, right? There was like 4 of us ladies, and there was a female nurse present, and this male doctor had us all standing in a row naked with just our underwear, so not even bras, just underwear. He felt our boobs and then tweaked our fucking nipples. I almost jumped out of my skin. We are standing in a cold room, so of course our nipples are hard, and he tweaked our fucking nipples, and I was like, so shocked. I couldn't believe that had just happened to me, and I didn't tell anybody because I was like, what the fuck was that?
Wonder if that's
It's
why
not
the US Army
okay.
can't- or the U.S. military can't win wars.
Ladies, if you ever get your nipples tweaked at fucking MEPS,
Break a
say
jaw.
something.
You aren't actually in the military. All you're doing is striking another person.
Yep.
There is no right. They're gonna shout. They're gonna make all
You
kinds
haven't
of
raised your
noise.
little hand yet?
Yep. They
You
can't
ain't
do
in.
shit to you.
I think
Yep.
the thing that
It
bothers
is
me
on a
the
federal
most,
in a federal building, which may be a problem.
the
For
thing,
him.
the
Yeah,
thing-
it's gonna get loud fast.
the thing that bothered me the most
Yeah.
was that there was a female nurse present and she did
Yes.
nothing to stop it.
No, the military is inherently fucked up. Again,
What
It
is it
was-
supposed to do? You have a
I've-
highly reputable military figure there.
At that point in my life, I
no,
had
it's
never
a third-rate
felt
drunk doctor.
more
but
exposed and vulnerable, and it gives me chills to this day. It was scary. So if people do that to you, it's not okay. And I know you're young, and I know it's scary, but
Lash out.
fucking say something.
it would be
Fucking
dangerous.
do something.
Backhand them.
If anyone touches you in a weird way, say something.
Or do something. Both are acceptable.
Since it's very unlikely anything will actually happen, my advice is scar him up on the face.
attack them.
Yeah.
Because they attacked you. They assaulted you first. So they struck first and you're naked, so you are vulnerable. Fucking go after these motherfuckers. It's not okay.
When the security guy walks in the room to naked woman and fully clothed male, they're probably gonna assume
Well,
the
you're
guy.
on top of him, beating the shit out of him.
They're gonna boot you in the side of the neck.
That's fine.
Yeah, security works for the people who have a badge to be in that building. Now, after that, yeah, you get to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I'll point out the FBI covered up for the Olympics, Gropey, for how long?
Oh, God.
Or no, excuse me, just couldn't find anything. And it's weird because all of those same groups invite a lot of FBI agents to be judges of things. So maybe it's not improper, it just looks that way.
Anyway, Boomer Rex's About Damn Time.
No, we gotta go
Tell
back
me-
because I have a longer thing about
Okay.
the last thing.
That's fine.
No, because I started out at right, it's like telling troops not to fuck. Like, at best, you can come up with some sort of moral tale about why they shouldn't fuck each other. But they are young, fit little gods, and they are absolutely going to fuck all the time. If you can't find two of them, they're fucking.
If they're not in each other's chain of command,
I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Yes.
But when
I
they're-
do, actually, but
When they're
fuck
in a-
civilians. Don't fuck each other. It's already 1%. It really is a family business. If someone could speak to the military well enough, they could take the military and the vets and run the show, regardless of what elections or anything else says. Because if the veterans don't agree, your power doesn't work anymore. And you can't fix that.
Yeah. All right, tell me the good news.
All right, it's about damn time. So, a federal judge upheld a court account of obstruction and an official proceeding against accused Capitol rioter Rachel Powell. You have to remember who this one is. This is the one who left her kids to go do the protest, right? She's a Pennsylvania mother, known as by the moniker as Pink Hat Lady. She had a bullhorn. She's charged with about 6 different things. And she had said, well, it wasn't really an official proceeding. And the court said, as the court has explained before, and as every court in this district to address the issue has found, it captures her enthusiastic participation in this crime, and it is exactly an official proceeding as contemplated by federal law. They are announcing the next president of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that junk plea just isn't working. Oh, it's so sad.
Hey, it's a step up from the carried away, but it wasn't going anywhere. You were fucked on this.
So
We passed federal laws regarding specifically this action.
Yep.
anyway, she's all over Facebook in October 2020. The only way this is going to be probably capable of being resolved is with bloodshed, and I'm sure our government can be fixed the political way anymore. So anyway,
No,
legal route isn't working. It's time to rise.
the Civil War kids don't even understand. You would get Americans just making mortars in their garage and firing them randomly into their city center with no allegiance to any side.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I've always wanted to make one that went like this.
You would be surprised, well, not you, but the internet would be surprised how much that would backfire if a civil war were to launch.
Oh, yeah.
It would just be used as an excuse to kill everyone.
Well, and
You would have so
you
many
don't get
people
the
just going
fires
out
put out.
shooting everyone.
Yeah.
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 And any violence is attributed instantly to your preferred boogeyman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because all you know is your family member went out to work or whatever and didn't come home. So obviously, it's those sons of bitches with the bumper stickers you hate.
All right. Dumbass of the day.
So anyway, in late June, a conservative educational coalition called the Civics Alliance
Oh, boy.
released a new set of social studies standards for K-12 schools with the intention of promoting it as a model for states nationwide.
Oh, fuck my
These
life.
standards are entitled American Birthright and are framed as yet another correction to woke public schools, where, according to Republicans, theoretical frameworks like critical race theory are only part of a larger attack
Of course.
on the foundations of American
This is
democracy.
direct-
You mean like your fucking armed insurrection against the government of the United States, you assholes?
No, they mean like the protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yeah. This is some protocols of the Elders of Zion bullshit for sure.
This
So,
is about
anyway.
weakening the future generations and the burden. Like, no, that's what pisses me off about these people. And I know it's supposed to be Monday, so I'll be quiet again.
No, it's they claim to represent an ideologically neutral, apolitical history.
You can't stay neutral while actively against.
I know.
And it's
No
really-
references to diversity, equity, or inclusion. Nothing about social justice, which they view as vocational training and progressive activism. No,
fucking
it's how to
wish.
be a human being, you goat fucker.
Well, it's like the complaints about the lack of civics courses now, which is cool, but we don't trust them to deal with rainbow. Do you really expect them to teach the difference between command economies and a market economy?
Properly.
Yeah.
At all. Okay.
Ronald Reagan is cited as a hero of liberty.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Fuck my
So-
life.
Again, they
Hero
spent a
of whose
trillion.
liberty?
They spent $1 trillion
His own.
revamping his image,
Yeah.
and that
Fucking
number's old.
millionaires, billionaires. I don't know. I fucking lost track.
Again,
So-
the American Taliban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
fucking
teaching you
stupid.
their religion.
I
For
Carter
the
recall.
record, my generation, most of your attempts to try and weaken us will just piss us off more. Because we've already reached the point where we can go to the internet and go, holy fuck, what you're doing's not right.
Yep.
And then we just go, alright, well,
Yeah.
fuck you then.
Well,
That's
and
what a lot of our generations already do.
right. But part of the problem is that, you know, there's a lot of Gen Zers that are,
Stupid.
no, yeah, some of them are stupid, but that's also comes with youth, right? I didn't actually start becoming what I consider an actual human being until 35. That was when I actually started realizing that, oh shit, life is not just go to work, come home, do some fun shit, go to work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's more to it than that. Like, you have to pay attention to your greater surroundings,
Yep.
or bad things are going to happen. And the more I paid attention, the more bad things I saw happening, and the more I realized, holy shit, all this time I've been turning a blind eye to things that I could have fixed
Yeah.
had I known, things that I could have voted on or for or against, people I could have voted on or for or against.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking back saying I wasted so much time that I could have been doing good things. And it's such a simple thing. It's going out and voting.
Yeah.
Voting in not just the big election, which is what I used to do because I thought that was the important thing. No, your local elections.
Every election matters.
Every election that your local area has is fucking important, and you should pay attention to it. End of discussion.
Remember, your local representatives will be the ones going for the national stage at some point. Or at least attempting to.
Yep.
Yeah. And what you have to remember is that if you don't like anybody on your ballot, go
Be the
out
best.
and run. Be that person. You know?
You can do it. We believe in you.
Fucking do it. You're smarter than Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're smarter than Lauren Boebert. You're smarter than fucking Trump. Fucking do it. All right? You can. We believe in you. All right.
And primary the shitheads in your party that aren't doing the things you want.
Yeah.
Speaking of Democrats, which party is Biden in?
What has he done now?
I've reached the point where I'm not sure what party he's in. I'm sure he's a good indoor Republican,
Yep.
right? And he's not a
Oh, he'd be the
Trumpista.
best. He could hang with around me forever.
Yeah. And Mitch McConnell's a
Yeah,
friend
and Liz
can
Cheney
be
and-
trusted.
Well, no, we can't talk about fucking Biden's friends because they're also all the racists.
Yeah. So anyway,
That can be said for most presidents. Most.
We bet.
so in a year when the Democratic Party is in trouble in the midterms, right? When somebody hands you the biggest wedge issue in history,
Teed it up for you 2 months
teed
before
it
they
the
did it.
fuck up. So you had 2 months to get ready.
Test balloons. Polling or fucking. Mm-hmm.
But did old slow Wall Street Joe.
I don't
Joe
fucking care.
Biden.
The Republican black bag kids could hit the ball and drag Bush. What
Yeah.
the fuck are the professional Democrat political operatives doing aside from
remember that
updating their resumes?
Remember that the leadership of the Democratic Party is basically the withering remains of the Clinton movement,
Yeah, the third way garbage.
bowel movement. So anyway, here's this fabulous wedge issue, which is it drives a wedge between the Republicans and the independents.
Yeah.
Not only that, it unites the Democratic Party. And what has Joe Biden done with it? Fucking nothing.
Hasn't said
Oh,
second place
wait.
once.
We're going to have a task force. Way to go, Joe.
What's this task force gonna do?
It's going to think about ways to help now that Roe v.
Hold
Wade.
on. He's getting a group of people together to create a think tank
I bet I could make
to
blood shoot out her eye.
consider how to help women not die because of the abortion
Right.
ban.
Yeah.
No. First, they're going to have meetings about having meetings.
Right. Well, and then they have to decide whether the Democratic Party should get involved in
I
that.
do hear it's only, abortion activists that care about this, not the mainstream Democrats.
Yep.
Yeah, except it's
Speaking of people who should be pushed out of windows, like, she should leave with them throwing stuff at her.
Yeah.
what I find extremely interesting is the amount of people that support abortion. The percentage has gone up since Roe has been overturned
It stopped
by at
being-
least
yeah.
10%.
It's no longer, right,
This is
an abstract.
not an abstract thing anymore, because before people could kind of go, well,
They're never going to
maybe
do it.
I wouldn't want one, but if somebody else needed to get one, or if I was sick or something, I would totally need to get one, and that's fine. Or maybe, I don't know, blah, blah, blah.
was
But now
Clinton's
that
weak-ass
you
line?
see people dying from atopic pregnancies, which, yeah, that's what's happening. Welcome to the world.
Yep. That could be you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, and waiting until there's a medical emergency, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like,
Especially if you know the
Literally.
medical emergency is gonna happen months ahead of time.
well, and doctors, I don't understand what you aren't doing of just going, cool, right, and go over and make the machine do whatever it is you need to, right, or take the stethoscope and be like, yep, nope, heartbeat's gone, let's get this done.
Yeah.
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 I would lie
Right, they were supposed
on
to have no-
all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that when they go back and check all the paperwork, guess what? It all checks
Well,
out.
once you're confident you have an atopic pregnancy, you don't. The heartbeat is irrelevant.
I know.
This is not going to term.
Yeah,
the
no,
sooner
we're-
you act, the
Yeah,
better.
the other
Yeah.
was the other thing, but
Well, and I recently heard a story about a woman, I don't know
This one.
where, but there was a woman who had an ectopic pregnancy, and they wouldn't do anything about it until she went septic. So now she can't have any more children. Her uterus is all fucked up. She got bruises all over her belly and shit from the fact that they refused to do anything until she was literally dying.
yeah.
And that is unacceptable.
Inducing
in
a medical
America.
emergencies, that's mighty bold of a doctor.
Yeah.
You don't have any of the skills to resist anyone who didn't go to med school and did the other things. Or
And
these
here's
very
the-
few of you, I'm thinking.
Here's the thing, you have all
Don't
these
be
people
violent.
complaining about all the mental illnesses and things that are happening. You get a lot less of these people if abortions were just allowed. So that way, your baby's gonna have an issue, you can make it so they don't have to suffer.
Well, or the simple issue that the family can't raise them,
Yeah,
right? Which
you
is
don't
one
want
of
fucked
the.
up kids.
What is the
Let them
compelling
not
state
have it.
interest?
It's what?
I've never been able to wrap my head around the compelling state interest, and I know it's going to quickly devolve to babies and murder. And again, I can at least...
Again, that's a religious
know,
belief
yeah.
on the part of the American Taliban.
Yep.
Yep.
No, and again, this is people bringing their religious beliefs into our government, which
Imposing
is
it on others.
something that the founding fathers, which y'all like to talk about a lot, were heavily against.
Yep.
They wanted no mixture, and they made it plainly clear in everything they wrote that said, no religion shall have anything to do with the government of this, because that way lies insanity,
Yep.
and such words.
And they already
Yes.
knew they had 13 flavors of crazy.
Yeah.
Almost the entire point of most of the people who came to the Americas was because they wanted to get out of religious prosecution to begin with.
Right.
To steal
So, if you want to keep touting about the founding fathers' intent, maybe understand their actual fucking reasons for
It'd
things.
be nice.
Yep.
And I think more of you ladies need to start telling people that you are part of the Satanic Temple and you should have all rights to abortion because it is a deeply held religious belief. The fuck was that?
Wind, it sounded like.
Could be.
Sorry, we just heard a weird, loud noise. Does anybody know what
Oh.
the weight is?
Wind.
Pushing on the cardboard.
Okay. Because the other thing you can hear is when the door is open for yard dog. Well, okay. Maybe we're going to get some rain. We'll see.
We've gotten some rain. Oh, pretty good.
All right. Can we solve it? Yes, we can.
No.
So,
we
Robert
can't.
Reich came out and wrote us a
I
solution.
meant to read that. What did he say?
Well, I've taken two of his paragraphs, which I thought were good. He said, much of today's Republican Party is treacherous and treasonous.
Yeah.
So
gee,
why
you
are
think?
Democrats facing midterm elections that, according to most political observers, they're likely to lose? Having been a loyal Democrat for 70 years, including a stint as a cabinet secretary, it pains me to say this. The Democratic Party has lost its way. Some commentators think Democrats have moved too far to the left, too far from the so-called center. That's utter rubbish.
Yeah.
Where is the center between democracy and authoritarianism, and why would Democrats want to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Democrats were never really centrists until recently when, you know, the Republicans decided to go way extremist.
The
on the
70s.
right. Like,
Yep. No, you can't split the difference with fucking Nazis.
Yep.
the entire point
We know what to do
was-
with Nazis. We
and,
did it.
And here's a fun, thing for y'all who think that the left is more left than we used to be. We're actually a lot more right than we used to be. Look at the scale. And you can look at it from back in like the 60s and stuff, and then look at it now. Yeah, it's different. And it's not gone the direction they're saying it's gone, but they're saying it
Or the
because
direction it needed to go.
they've gone more to the right? So they've gone farther right, and we've shifted right, but because they've gone even farther,
Yep.
they are now calling us socialists.
Well, they use that word because no one in their team knows what it is.
That's
Right.
But
it's
they
the
are.
buzzword that they know is bad because the Nazis were socialists.
it's communist,
So gotta call
yeah.
everyone else that.
It's
It's
like
a buzzword.
communism. Some half of them will figure out what Nazi stood for. It's just and if we were in any of the multi-party democracies that we like to aspirationally compare ourselves to, we would be one party. We'd be a pro-business party.
Yeah.
The Democrats and the Republicans across the United States would all fit within one ass party. Because the left doesn't want any of the things they talk about. And when they have the chance to do them, they find some reason to run away and give Susan Collins something for nothing.
Yeah. So, anyway, he continues, and here's his prescription. Democrats cannot defeat authoritarian populism without an agenda of radical democratic reform, a pro-democracy, anti-establishment movement. Democrats must stand squarely on the side of working people against the oligarchy. They must form a unified coalition of people of all races, genders, and classes to unrig the system.
Yeah.
Against old rich people.
Trumpism is not the cause of our divided nation.
Not even close.
It is the symptom of a rigged system
Yes.
that was already dividing us.
Yeah.
It is a solution in search of a problem.
I actually did my junior essay on basically this topic.
Yeah.
The whole concept of the two-party system is literally a result of how our voting system works to begin with. And, well, now because we only have two parties, and originally it worked decently well-ish when you had the representatives who were more knowledgeable than the general people who were voting, and they were almost required to talk about things, or they would get killed when they got back home. Now there's no threat of that, and everyone can see all debates, period, and all debate questions were now focused on the personal beliefs of the politicians as opposed to what they wanted and actually were going to do.
Yep.
As opposed to trying to compromise and understand, they were more focused on the personal beliefs.
No,
Yeah.
we
TV stopped wanting to break down policy debate.
No, and we in the Democratic Party need to stop trying to meet these assholes halfway. We need to say, no, this is what needs to happen. End of discussion. No questions asked. Fuck you.
There
We
you
need to
go.
stop courting the media and start also threatening Section 230. Because we don't have a free press in the United States. We don't have a fair press in the United States. Only one side gets tagged for its lack of bipartisanship.
Yeah?
One side invents people out of whole cloth to be someone who can discuss a thing, which, in the case of Paul Ryan, involved a budget that had dynamic scoring. You know, magical fuck off math.
Yep.
Which also wasn't borne out when we tried that.
Yep.
Just dumb.
All
The
right.
party system as it stands right now is kind of stupid because neither party
Well,
lines up with most of the people's beliefs.
the big problem for the Democrats is that they have rotting infrastructure. Right. Again, this is the
Republicans
Hillary
do
Clinton
too.
party. The Republicans are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's the Trump party now.
it's the Trump party now. But if the Democrats are not going to lead their way out of this, they aren't going to like what happens.
No.
So get off your ass.
Yeah, that would be the way a third party would start. I mean, it wouldn't actually be a third party.
Right.
It'll just be
A
whatever.
two-party system.
It'll be
with one
what
of
the Trumpistas did to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
It's just take them over. Just fuck them. Stop listening to Hillary Clinton and the rest of the clowns.
I think
Stop listening to Joe Biden. If you can physically whip Joe Biden into motion, fine. Right? But if not, leave him on the sidewalk or leave him,
Yeah.
If we really wanted to do this subtly, the best we could do subtly would be changing the voting system to preferential or something along those lines.
I'd be careful about that one.
Yeah.
I've never seen a study that said that was a good idea.
Yeah.
If I believe
the one
the
I
electorate
know the
reform-
effects of, and I have seen the studies for, term limits are the dumbest idea
Yeah.
you can possibly come up with. There is no dumber idea, no quicker way to wreck democracy
Yeah.
than term limits.
Just the
The
bosses-
reason is very simple. That for every term limited politician who leaves, you now have an open seat, and you've got a bunch of unknowns running for the open seat.
and whoever gets
And
the
at
most
that
money will
point,
dominate.
that's right. You simply interview the candidates, the one that belongs to, with the oligarchy and will vote to support them, gets early money, and that's the end of the
It
primary.
makes it easier to take over said democracy because there's a
Certainly
lot of
makes
less
it
factors.
cheaper.
That's why the Republicans focused on state rights for the late 80s, early 90s.
States were easier to buy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's measured in hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of millions.
A pro-democracy, anti-establish movement stands squarely on the side of working people against the oligarchy and a unified coalition of people of all races, genders, and classes to unrig the system. If you think for a second that the system is rigged based on race, you're an idiot. The system is rigged based on whether you're working class or oligarch.
I will say there is a determining factor in that based on race, but
Yeah, it can be worse for black folks.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I absolutely agree. But the point is
Yeah, but we made the boy
that
walk
all
out of
workers
point.
have the same agenda,
Absolutely.
for God's sake.
All right.
But we did make the boy walk out a statement to make sure he was on the right side of things.
Yeah.
All right. Updates with the BoomerX health threats.
So India has a new variant, BA 2.75. It's able to spread rapidly. It gets around the vaccines. It's unclear whether it causes more serious disease than the currently dominant BA5, but it may be more infective.
Tune back in 3 weeks. We'll let you know, the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And, as long as you're looking for health threats, Ghana is rigging for an emergency with
Is that Marburg?
the Marburg virus. Marburg virus kills 90% of
Fuck
the people
around
who
and
get
find
it,
out, guys.
and they bleed to death through their nose, mouth, and eyes. So,
Yeah.
anyway, get that one loose and see what happens.
Hemorrhagic fever is one of the ones that can get you zombies. Fuck
Yeah.
around.
They're going to look like zombies briefly.
Right?
Yeah.
Might even start acting like it out of desperation.
Yep. So, anyway, what do we got? Climate weirding.
Climate weirding. Cool.
God, I love this one. I am just in love with this one. So remember that the Texas power grid failed and a bunch of folks froze to death? Yeah.
No, they solved that. Remember, they learned their lessons and they modernized.
Absolutely.
And,
Swore they'd fix the problem.
yeah, it's all
They
good
made
now.
a plea for Texans to conserve power again, warned of possible rolling blackout.
No.
Well, it's worse than that because Texas, in order to reward their rich donors, set up a power grid that cannot borrow generating capability from the other states. And so they're just stuck with what they have.
Freedom.
Yep. And so while other states happily borrow and lend power back and forth and so forth, Texas has essentially seceded from the power grid.
Well, the freedom to freeze
So,
to death
but
in winter
hey.
and boil to death in summer.
Absolutely. But you know, the
Fucking-
rich guys are making a lot of money on it.
Hey, man, free market capitalism, that's the way, baby.
Yep.
Can't believe those corporations didn't save all
Want to
those
know the
humans.
good news?
There's good news.
Yeah. When a rolling blackout hits your area, your carbon dioxide emissions go down.
Fair.
So,
That's their way of fighting climate change. Just cut the power.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's, well, I find it hysterical that they send out these messages like, please, during these hours, try to limit your, energy consumption because we can't fucking handle it. That's what you get, Texas. That's what you get for being like, oh, we're gonna have our own power grid and fuck everybody else, blah, blah, blah.
We're gonna have
things
our own
and stuff.
power grid with flapjacks and hookers.
Yeah, I bet you're all sad about your life choices now. Fuck off.
Well, but hey, the rich got richer. So that's good,
Leave
right?
Texas. Just reduce
Yeah,
the
if you
representation.
can, just get the hell out of Texas. I mean, I've driven through Texas, and it was terrible.
Good
The whole
states.
time. I was like, I could totally understand. You're just driving forever, and you're just forever in Texas, and I could see, like, pulling over and just being like, we live here now. We can't go any further. Because it just never fucking ends. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus. Took me 2 days to drive through Texas.
You know, Texas is one of those places that says, thank God for Alabama, when you start listing the states that don't have health care and don't have schools and don't have, right. It's just
Thank
Texas
God
is
we're
a,
not the only idiots.
Maternal mortality, pick
Yeah,
any
all that
metric
good
by a
stuff.
country, right? Any of the things you ask about moving to a place,
yeah.
yeah. Texas is
Texas,
going to have
bottom of
some
the
zip
list.
codes to talk about. That's going to be about it.
I think what we need to start doing is comparing states to other countries just to see how bad they are compared to third world countries.
They're
It'll
probably
be
pretty
really-
similar.
It'll
to
be really
it'll be
sad for the Texans when they realize that they might be better off living in an African country. And that'll piss them off too.
Actually, for some of the income and wealth distribution, yes, there are African countries which have better income and wealth distribution.
Yeah.
In terms of healthcare outcomes, the U.S. is the same as Turkey.
Oh.
You notice that's not one of the civilized nations in Western Europe.
Yeah, that's not one of
Right.
the good places you want to be compared to.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're,
It's run by a strong man.
if
It's-
you're not
Yep.
white, it's worse.
Yes, much worse.
And black people don't feel pain the way white people do. Fuck off. Fuck off. Just fuck right off. Like, that's not how biology works. Go fuck yourself. Okay.
Their brain isn't different just because they have more or less of a chemical in their skin.
Yeah, well,
Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
If anything, they're probably smarter than us.
I'm sorry, it all comes back to something that was said many years ago, which was, if you elevates the status of the black man, what's the poor white man gonna feel he's superior to?
White
Actually,
women.
I almost got the accent right.
White women.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, anyway, don't forget to...
Bolivia, Brazil, Bulgaria has exactly the same Gini coefficient.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't
Real
forget...
garden spots.
I hate you both. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review.
Smash that like button.
on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. We love y'all. We'll see you back here tomorrow night for more BoomerRexTonight.
Dominican
Not better than
Republic
stupid.
is better
Good night,
than
Internet.
Texas.
Yeah.